Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I discovered smoking when I was 15 years old. Now, I grew up in the 80s in Upper Darby, so it's Delco, and we were kind of required to have big hair and smoke. And it's true. And I loved smoking. I mean, I absolutely adored it, and I had no intention of ever quitting. So I was smoking, and I realized, it was kind of like my friend. Like, a guy would break out with me, I had my cigarettes. Something would go wrong, I had my cigarettes. So we were not parting ways anytime soon. Well, I got out of college, I got a job in the city, and I was working for this guy, and he was like, you should quit smoking. And I'm like, I don't know. So I decided to try to quit smoking, and I did Altoids mints. So I would chew a mint every time I wanted a cigarette. And I chewed a lot of mints. And it really didn't work. I just had this minty fresh breath, but it just didn't work. So I went back to smoking. A couple years later, I'm at my apartment, and I was living with this guy, Chuck, and we had a really good friend named John. This guy, John, comes into our apartment, and he's like, hey. He's like, I'm going to try to quit smoking. There's this guy at Germantown Hospital that does acupressure. He puts a staple in your ear, and, it's going to help you quit smoking. Does anyone want to go? And I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. I'll go. Because now I'm thinking, getting a little older, maybe I should quit. So John and I go to the Germantown Hospital, we listen to this long lecture, and we get the staple in our ear, and we are now smoke-free, and we're really proud of ourselves. We leave Germantown Hospital, we go to Center City. We go to the 16th Street Bar and Grill, and we get a table. We order a couple of beers, we get some appetizers, and John says to me, I'm going to go get a pack of cigarettes. And I'm like, that's a good idea. And he goes and gets a pack of smokes, and we're sitting, because you could smoke then, and we're sitting there, eating and drinking and smoking our cigarettes, saying, like, isn't it great that we're going to be smoke-free? Isn't this awesome? I'm so proud of us. And the next day, we actually did quit, and it lasted for a few more months, and then I went back to smoking. Things go wrong, and the guy breaks up with you, and you have your friends, and you have your smoke screen. And I smoked for years. So I moved out actually to Chester County, and this is a few years later, and I decided to start studying martial arts. So I'm still smoking. I'm studying martial arts. I'm teaching kids martial arts. And I am the secret martial arts smoker. So I'm still smoking, and I'm kind of like, this is ridiculous. I can't be doing martial arts, teaching kids martial arts, trying to be like this healthy person and still smoke. I would go to the dojang, and before I got in my car, I would have a cigarette, then I would shower, and I would go to the gym, and then after the gym, I would smoke on the way home. I mean, it was crazy. So I did quit for 2 years, and I stayed with the martial arts for a few more years, and I quit. And finally, I was like, I couldn't bear it anymore. I couldn't bear to be smoke-free. So I went back to smoking, and I quit the martial arts. I mean, this is crazy, right? So a few more years go by, and I got hypnotized. So my mom had quit smoking, and she had quit by getting hypnotized. So I said, well, I will get hypnotized. And I went to this guy who was a hypnotist, and he put these glasses on me, and they had flashing lights, and he said to me, you're getting very sleepy, and I wasn't. He starts talking to me, he's like, you can't lift your hand. And I'm like, I could lift my hand. I mean, I was not hypnotized. So apparently I am not hypnotizable. And, I kept smoking. I moved to New York. And now I am no longer young. My shelf life with smoking is running out. I have to quit. I'm living in New York, and I'm smoking. And one night in my apartment, I said to myself, I'm just going to try. And I've been smoking American Spirits, which are organic. And my friend Jim was like, you're going to get organic cancer. And I threw my last 2 American Spirits in the trash in my kitchen, and I had a plan. I would get Nicorette gum, and I would go to the newsstand across the street from where I worked at 55th and 6th, and if it got unbearable, I would run over to that newsstand. I knew the guy had American Spirits, and I would get my smokes. I'd get the Nicorette gum at the Duane Reade, I'd go to work, and it's like a miracle. It's the best day ever. I'm not missing the smokes, I have my Nicorette gum, it's literally a miracle. And then I thought, well, I will also go to Nicotine Anonymous. So I started going to these Nicotine Anonymous meetings uptown. And I go, and people are very nice, and they're very 12-steppy, and they're, very encouraging to you. And every single one of them had given up like alcohol and drugs, and they all said quitting smoking was harder. That tells you what it's like, right? If you've ever smoked. So I'm chewing the gum. I'm going to these meetings once a week, and one of the reasons I went to these meetings was there was this really nice looking guy, and I had a thing for him. And I was like, oh, he's so cute, and maybe he'll ask me out for coffee after the meeting. And one night he actually asked me and another woman out for coffee. We're gonna go after the meeting, have coffee, and talk about our addiction. And we go, and we're having coffee, and this woman starts to tell us that she's a sex addict. And I could see this guy's wheels turning, like he's like, yeah. And how do I compete with this? I'm just a nicotine addict, and I drink moderately, So I stopped going to the meeting because I was so embarrassed after that to see him, because they left the coffee house together, and they went their way, and I went alone my way, so I just stopped. But I actually managed to keep cigarette free. So I quit smoking in September of 2009. I have not had a cigarette since then. Now, thank you. I did chew the Nicorette gum for another 4 years and gave the Nicorette gum up last September. So in 1 year and maybe 2 weeks, Nicorette, nicotine free. And it was maybe not courageous, but time consuming, and I think worth it. Thank you.